What's up, everybody? Diamonds and Gold here, bringing you guys another YouTube video. Today we have a galactic versus matchup between the War in Heaven Necrons versus the Forerunners. Both at the heights of their power, these are known as some of the most overpowered sci-fi factions of all time. I will do my best to cover both factions to the best of my knowledge, so if I miss anything, please feel free to roast me down in the comment section below. And as always, be sure to like the video as it helps get this video off the ground. As for the matchup itself, let's get started with our first faction, the Necrons. The Necrons are said to have trillions of troops during their war in heaven. They're machine-like beings and don't have a need to eat or sleep. This allows them to constantly fight non-stop. These troops were known to carry gauze weapons, which can break down structures on a molecular level. Even when wounded, they are known to fight on until they have to phase out of the battle from taking too much damage. They have presumably millions of ships and millions of worlds at their disposal as well. The Necron ships are known to be extremely powerful in the Warhammer universe, with a single Karn-class ship being able to take down an entire Imperium of Man fleet by itself. The Karn-class ship comes in at about 20 kilometers in length and 15 kilometers in width. Both the Necron troops and their ships are made out of this special metal referred to as necrodermis. This is a self-healing, regenerating metal material gifted to them by the godlike Catan. The Catan were the Necrons' allies during this time period and were fully functional. Later, they were of course converted into shards, but not for this matchup. The Catan number in the dozens, but may have had hundreds, if not thousands. It's really unclear. Each were very powerful, being able to create black holes, destroy star systems, reality warp, and even drive their enemies insane. This brings us to the world engines, also known as tomb worlds. These are planet-sized constructs that the Necrons have and use as a base to accelerate their healing and even create new bodies if one of the Necrons is damaged too badly during their battle. During the war in heaven, there were presumably thousands of these world engines, if not hundreds of thousands, to sustain their trillions of troop population. It should be noted that much like the Karn-class Necron ship, a single world engine was able to defeat an entire Imperium of Man fleet as well. We know the Imperium could possibly, or it's strongly suggested, could beat a Star Wars or Covenant fleet of equal size. So this should prove that taking down an Imperium fleet is quite a feat. Another ability that the Necrons have is that they can phase their bodies and ships in and out of combat. They're also known to phase their attacks through their opponent's shielding. This is a great ability to have for offensive and defensive maneuvers. Moving on to ground combat, the Necrons bring with them a shielded star that can lay waste to entire continents, monoliths, which allows teleportation of their troops, also has a known firepower to destroy entire continents, Necron Titans and Wraiths, which can also phase and wreak havoc among its foes, along with many other vehicles, but there are too many to name. These are essentially the tanks of the Necron ground combat. These are also made out of self-repairing necrodermis, much like all of their assets. The next asset that the Necrons have is the Celestial Array. This array is a monitor screen of the entire galaxy. At the push of a button, it will destroy worlds and cause supernovas. Though it is only mapped for the Warhammer galaxy, the Forerunners may dare not to enter it. Lastly, but certainly not least, the Necrons have the ability to time travel. This would essentially allow them to retry any and all lost battles they may encounter. This is definitely one of their most powerful assets and could possibly be deemed overpowered. Now that we know a bit about the Necrons, let's learn about their rivals, the Forerunners. The Forerunners from ancient Halo were a gigantic civilization. They too numbered in the trillions of troops, with possibly hundreds of trillions of citizens among their known 3 million worlds. They wore powerful suits, known to be 10 times stronger than what we see of Master Chief. These suits allowed them to go extended periods of time without food or sleep. They bring with them devastating weaponry known to destroy enemies on an atomic and molecular scale, which also had access to trillions of combative machines known as Sentinels. These were made to do the fighting instead of a Forerunner soldier. These could aid on land or in space. They had a very high production rate, creating a new Sentinel every few seconds. They also had extremely large planetary-sized constructs like the Halo Rings, the Ark, High Charity, Mathrillion, and hundreds of Dyson Spheres, along with many others. They could casually move these constructs around the galaxy, wherever and whenever they wanted on a whim. Their ships were not of small size either, ranging from 10 kilometers all the way up to over 100 kilometers in length. Some ships, even bigger as the Mantis approach, was over 300 kilometers, seen in Halo 4. The 100-kilometer ships are known as the Fortress class and were known to destroy worlds with little effort. This had to be done during the Forerunner Flood War. There were millions of Forerunner capital ships, and the Fortress class would make up roughly 5% of the Forerunner Navy overall. Most of the Forerunner troops, ships, and constructs would have thick shields using hard light. This is extremely durable and nearly indestructible, even by Forerunner standards. As far as ground vehicles go, little is known, but based off of the Forerunner naval strength and size of their ships, we could guess the ground vehicles would be somewhat similar in capability. Lastly, we have the Forerunner Halo Rings, which are some of the greatest and most powerful weapons in sci-fi. They can wipe out life within a 25 light-year distance, and of course they had multiples of these. But the catch is they were designed to destroy sentient life to help combat the Flood's food source. Now for the comparison and how I might see this going. Well, we both know these factions have trillions of troops with more than adequate weaponry. The Necrons have better known ground vehicles, which could give them an advantage there, but this might only make up 1/4 or even 1/5 of the overall engagements by direct planetary combat, I would say. The majority of this war will happen in space. I predict that both factions have shown to be extremely powerful in space with a few feats to back them up. The Necron ships are smaller than the Forerunner ships, but size alone is irrelevant. These, ship for ship, they would seem extremely comparable in firepower. The Fortress class Forerunner ship would be more comparable to a Necron world engine. These are clearly the heaviest hitters for both factions, though I would predict it would take a few Fortress class to match that of a world engine. That being said, the Forerunners have been known for their durable shields, but this ability may not go as planned, as the Necrons can use their phasing, which would allow them to bypass shields entirely, as if they were not even there. This is casual among the Necrons, as most of any Necron has this capability. This may tip the balance of the space and ground warfare to the Necrons. However, that being said, both sides have a strong player to back them up. The Forerunners having trillions of Sentinels at their side that could aid them in space. However, the Necrons have the Catan. If I had to weigh which of these two would do the most damage, I would have to bet on the Catan, to be honest. Each one could wipe out an entire fleet with a black hole or reality warp, or drive the Forerunners insane. This all coupled with the Necrons being able to recuperate their fallen and the ability to time travel. It would seem as though the Necrons have a firm leg up over their Forerunner rivals, and the Forerunners don't exactly have a counter for these kind of things. I would think this war would last for centuries, as both are extremely powerful, of course, but ultimately it would appear that the Necrons have more than the Forerunners do. But let me know what you guys think. Did I account for all the game-changing abilities for both sides? Did I miss anything? Do you agree or disagree? How do you see this matchup going? Please let me know. Diamonds and Gold, signing off.